Hey everyone, it's me, Nathan from Nathan's Way. Happy Pride, everyone. Yes, it's still Pride on my channel, so happy Pride. Now, in 3 days, July 13th, is when the deadline to enter my Pride Month giveaway is over. Now, you can hit the little info tab up there or look at the link down below. Yes, it's amazing. I think I put together an amazing giveaway full of queer artists, business owners, vendors, and creatives. And I'm really excited to have it all in this box. Yeah, and someone's going to win it. It is very witchy, very punk rock, and very, very, very queer. I don't know how witchy or punk rock it is, but it's amazing nonetheless. Now, you probably seen a lack of content in the past 10 days. That is because I burnt out after June. I was creating a lot of content for Pride Month, the month of June, and a lot of things were happening in my personal life that I will talk to once Pride Month is over. And so, yeah, I just really burnt out and fizzled. And I had to wallow in my depression for a little bit so I can pick myself back up and get remotivated. And hopefully, hopefully I'm okay now to continue. So I have 7 to 8 books I want to review. I already reviewed one, so that's like 6 books. I already read the four. The next four is just I need to refresh my brain because it's been a while since I read them. And yeah, I'm going to be recording two other book reviews today, hopefully. So today, I'm going to be talking to you about this documentary. It is Queercore. It is so aesthetically pleasing, and it talks about such an amazing topic and such an amazing punk rock revolution. It's called Queercore, How to Punk a Revolution, a film by Yanni Lavzer. Yeah, I really enjoyed this documentary. Now, this documentary talks about the queer person, which featured bands, artists, and different talents. Queercore. Queercore started as Homocore, which started as a kind of a way where these queer punk rock, queer artists carved a space for themselves, because in this documentary it talks about how these queer punk rockers were too punk rock for the gay bars and too gay for the punk spaces, because yeah, back then it was a homophobic mess in the punk scene. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So GB Jones and Bruce LaBruce were roommates, so GB Jones was an artist, a filmmaker, a zine writer, and Bruce LaBruce did a whole lot of collaboration. GB Jones and Bruce LaBruce did a lot of collaborations, and they decided to make this queer punk zine called JD's. Now, JD's featured like collages of like naked guys and like sexually deviant punk rock amazingness. They had lesbian versions of Tom of Finland style artwork, and it's really amazing and cool to see how they depicted these zines and how these zines come to life in the documentary. And yeah, I just really liked it, like how they portrayed it. Now, they talked about how they made this zine to basically create the illusion that there was this whole gay queer scene in Toronto, Canada. And they basically turned this fictional safe space into a reality. Now, they had to literally carve out a space for themselves, and that's when JD's zines, and then it caught on and other people started making their own zines. So it was kind of like this really punk rock way of faking it until you make it. And GB Jones and Bruce did an amazing job with that. Oh, they carved this whole thing out, and it spread wide. It spread to the major cities. Another zine creator in a different city decided to make a zine called Homocore. Now, Homocore was a zine that was kind of like JD's, but in a different way. They talked about different music and stuff, and they had a top 10 queer list where they would put these amazing queer creators and queer music on this list with homophobes to kind of like get their revenge on the homophobic assholes in the music scene. So you would have like one queer positive song with a Patti Smith song, with a homophobic band song, just to kind of get their revenge. And in some cases it did work, because there were some bands that a lot of queer people started going to because of this scene, and it was kind of funny. In this documentary, they talk about, I think it was, I don't know what Pride Parade it was. It briefly mentioned it in the documentary, but there was this Pride float that had a rich benefactor where these punk kids could design what they wanted. So they designed this cop car with a high heel stepping on it, and they were wearing very punk rock queer garb on, with signs and this amazing thing. So basically that float was to attract like-minded people, so they could start bands. Like Tribe 8 developed from that Pride float. I know a couple drag queens were part of that float. GB Jones, Bruce are all part of that as well. So I found that to be really amazing, for the history that I did not know. Now, this documentary features a lot of amazing talent in queercore pioneers. Now, homocore turned into queercore somewhere like throughout the years, because homocore, a lot of the male audience thought it was all about them, and some bands were like, no, it's queer. So it became more accepting for lesbians, for drag, for trans drag, and the whole queer spectrum to be in that space. But it was the 90s, and I feel back then there was a lot of learning that needed to be done around gender identity. There are amazing interviews from John Waters and P. Ottridge. I can never say their name right, but they were in Genesis and Psychic TV, and yeah, just amazing work. And then there's interviews from bands like Tribe 8, Pansy Division, Phranc. Phranc, I actually found one of her vinyls at a random flea market in the middle of nowhere in New Hampshire, and I was so excited about that because Phranc was in this old LA punk band called Catholic Discipline, I believe. Or was it Nervous Gender? No, Catholic Discipline. And she is a Jewish lesbian folk singer. And then you have Team Dresch. You have interviews by Kathleen Hanna, and it even goes into the Riot Girl movement and how Riot Girl and Queercore kind of went hand in hand, but they were also their separate identities. But Kathleen Hanna actually was inspired by the queercore scene, so there was a lot of mixing and mingling between the two scenes. And yeah, this is an amazing documentary. I highly recommend you check it out. I'll leave links up below to where you can order this. And yeah, it's just really amazing, and this is how I spent my morning, and I couldn't have spent this morning in a better way. Yes. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below about Queercore. Do you like Queercore? Do you know what Queercore is? Do you have a favorite Queercore band? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little notifications bell down below for more updates. And thank you so much. Be sure to check out my giveaway, and yeah, thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. This is my way, Nathan's way.